In this video, we'll be running through the activities associated with the ECG and heart sounds practical. We'll be looking at how to set up and run an ECG, and we'll also have a look at how to record heart sounds, and in particular how to examine those heart sounds in relation to a simultaneously recorded ECG trace. Firstly, let's set up the ECG. For this activity, we'll need a box of tissues, some alcohol swabs, an abrasive gel, some stick-on ECG electrodes, a digital stethoscope, a power lab, and a set of ECG leads. To record an ECG, first of all we'll clean the skin using one of these alcohol swabs. ECG recordings tend to work best when the electrodes are stuck over bone rather than over skeletal muscle. And so take the alcohol swab and wipe the oils from the skin over the clavicles on the left and right sides. Lastly, wipe the oil from the skin over the left hip bone. Next, take some abrasive gel and wipe the skin in each of the 3 places you've just cleaned with the alcohol swab. The abrasive gel removes dead skin cells and makes for better conduction of the ECG. You can remove any leftover gel using a tissue. Here our subject will abrade the skin over the left clavicle, the right clavicle, and the hip bone. Now take the ECG leads. You should notice that there is a white negative lead, a black positive lead, and a green earth lead. We will be using what's called the lead 2 configuration, in which we will take the green earth electrode and place it on the left shoulder. We will take the white negative electrode and place it on the right shoulder. And lastly, take the black positive electrode and place it on the left hip. So in the lead 2 configuration, we should basically now have the negative electrode up to the top of the heart and the positive electrode down towards the apex, the bottom of the heart. So now that we're all wired up, the subject should sit back and relax and try to stay as still as possible so that we get a nice clean ECG trace. On page 4 of our CuraCloud notes is a lab chart window for us to capture our first ECG recording, and also just to practice that we're getting the recordings that we need for the rest of this practical. Press the Start button, and you should see the ECG trace begin to appear. At this stage, just notice that there's 3 little spikes. They're all in the positive direction, and so this is looking pretty good for what we need later on. Now, once you've recorded about 10 to 15 seconds worth of data, you can stop the recording, and then you can use the various controls to zoom in and have a look at the trace in more detail. Now these are looking pretty good. You can see that there's minimal noise, so you're getting a really nice clean line, and you're getting the 3 basic parts of an ECG, which is the P wave, the QRS complex, and the T wave. Now all we need to see here is that we're getting an ECG, which we are, so that's good. So now we can go on to the next screen and start the next activity.